Tonight, presidential aspirants to cough up 100,000 cedis, whilst parliamentary candidates pay 10,000. We have the latest as the Electoral Commission outlines modalities for filing of nominations for the 2020 polls. Also tonight on Top Story, Kennedy Japan lawyers to challenge jurisdiction of High Court judge to issue contempt summons on him after no show today at the High Court in the case in which the Assin Central MP is facing possible jail term for contempt of court.
Yes, he cannot assume jurisdiction which he doesn't have.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Gassim Cement, the nation builder, and Vodafone. The future is exciting ready. In the last few minutes, the Electoral Commission has announced the filing modalities for both the presidential and parliamentary elections later today. Now, for presidential candidates, they will have to cough up as much as 100,000 cedis to file their nominations. That's according to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Evans Mensah. According to the Commission, presidential and parliamentary aspirants will not physically pick nomination forms, but they will also have to pay 10,000 cedis, which, of course, is one that is coming up for some scrutiny in the last few minutes. My colleague Parker Wilson is at the Electoral Commission headquarters right now with details. Parker, this is just breaking in the last few minutes. Give us the specifics.
Right, so according to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Evans Mensah, she has indicated to us and announced to the media that today, 6 p.m., so in just about 30 minutes, political parties and independent candidates who seek to contest in this year's parliamentary elections would have to visit the website that she provided to gain access to nomination forms. That is where they can download the forms and fill them and equally submit it to the Electoral Commission. Now, the EC indicated that this year, because of COVID-19, the presidential candidates, including parliamentary candidates, would not have to come to the offices to pick the nomination forms. That is why they have made the website available for them to go and download the forms. Now, the website is ec.gov.gh/political parties. That's the website that the EC provided. And she also indicated that there's a unique password for all the general secretaries of registered political parties who are in good standing. So if you're a party and you're not in good standing, clearly, you would not have that unique code or password. And also for all the independent parliamentary aspirants and also independent presidential aspirants, they'll be given these unique passwords. So for the general secretaries, the chairperson indicated that the presidential candidates, including all their parliamentary aspirants, should see the general secretary for that unique password so they can access the nomination forms from them. But however, she mentioned that from the 5th of October to the 9th of October, that is when they can physically submit the nomination forms to the Electoral Commission, and that shouldn't exceed, when they are coming, they shouldn't bring more than 5 people because of COVID-19. And I mentioned earlier that the main reason for these online assessments of the nomination form is to halt the spread of COVID-19. But Evans, you recall that somewhere in 2016, the Electoral Commission announced 50,000 Ghana cedis for the presidential candidate, but this year it's 100,000. The deputy chairperson of the Electoral Commission, that is Dr. Boson Asari, has been giving some explanation. Now, for him, if you look at the trend, every 4 years, there is some kind of increase or increment. So, 50,000 in 2016 and 100,000 in 2020 is no big deal. It's no different. So they are looking at the economic situation and all of that, and that is why they arrived at the 100,000 for presidential aspirant. And for the parliamentary aspirant, they maintain the same old figure. That is from 10,000 Ghana cedis in 2016 to still 10,000 Ghana cedis in 2020.
The exhibition is beginning on Friday. It's taking place in all our 33,367 registration centers. And I think there was a question on why did we increase from 50 to 100. It's not just because we can increase. That's not the main reason why. But let's be very frank. Every 4 years, we adjust prices as far as the nomination fees are adjusted every 4 years. So 2012, presidential was almost 10,000. 2015, it came to 50,000. Then 2020 is now 100,000. And those of you who know the value of money in each particular year, it's important you look at the value of 50,000 in 2015, then compare to 50,000 in 2020. Then you will notice that the commission hasn't increased it that much. And even when you look at the parliamentary, the 10,000, what it actually means is that the commission has reduced it. Well, we all know that 10,000 in 2015 is not the same as 10,000 in 2020. So I think this is something the commission is doing, that to promote multi-party democracy, so that in our constituencies, if there are people there who want to contest as independent candidates in the parliamentary elections, they can do so. National level, if you are an independent person, a small party, the thinking of the commission is that 100,000 should be okay for you to be able to contest in the presidential elections. Thank you very much.
So, Parker, so that is the explanation there for the filing fees that we are beginning to understand for the presidential has gone up quite high. But Parker, it appears that when it comes to the parliament, his argument is that they've actually reduced it because they kept it constant, correct?
Yes, that's correct. They maintained it. In 2016, it was 10,000 Ghana cedis. In 2020, it is still 10,000 Ghana cedis. So by extension, they have reduced the filing fees for the parliamentary aspirant or parliamentary candidate. So Dr. Bosman Asare was making the point that at least we need to commend the Electoral Commission for maintaining the price, or perhaps, slashing it down.
So let's go through the entire modalities again, because this goes way down, apart from the presidential filing fees and the parliamentary filing fees that we know of. Some of the key things mainly have to do with COVID-19 and the processes of actually picking up and filing the nomination forms.
Yes, and Evans, it is instructive to note that the Electoral Commission mentioned that in times past, 2 days were assigned for a filing of nomination. And according to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, a lot of people were disqualified because they were not able to meet the time. Now, this year, because of COVID-19, and of course, for them to give opportunities to all political parties to file so that they can contest in the upcoming December polls, they have increased the number of days from 2 days to 5 days. So there has been additional 3 days. Now, the expectation is that within that 5-day period, at least all political parties will have the opportunity to file their nomination forms for their parliamentary aspirant and that of their presidential candidate as well. She cited 2016, where there were a number of issues with regards to disqualification because some of the political parties were unable to meet deadline for the filing of nomination forms. So these were some of the concerns that they raised. And everyone, you recall that, the main opposition NDC, have been raising concerns about the Electoral Commission's failure to consult political parties when they are taking decisions. I asked a direct question to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Evans Mensah, as to whether or not political parties were consulted in the process. Now, her explanation is that this is not a major policy change. This is a new initiative because of COVID-19. And so they wouldn't need any kind of consultation from the political party. So the commission themselves sat down, thought through, because of COVID-19, decided that they're going to put the forms online for the parties to access it and also increase the number of days for filing of nomination. So political parties, as we have been told by the Electoral Commission, were not consulted in this process. The money, the date, and of course the extension of the filing of nomination forms.
And Madam Mensah also lays out what you require to have your forms completely filled. Listen to her.
The nomination forms for candidates for an election to Parliament must be endorsed by 2 persons as a proposer and seconder, and supported by 18 persons, all of whom must have registered as voters in the constituency for which the candidate seeks election. It is important to note that 4 passport-sized copies of a recent photograph of the candidate, bust size, on a red background, showing his or her full face and ears, are to be delivered together with the nomination forms for both presidential and parliamentary candidates. Candidates for both presidential and parliamentary elections would be required to deliver or cause to be delivered to the returning officer a statutory declaration to the effect that he or she is qualified to be elected as President of Ghana or as a Member of Parliament, respectively, and that he or she is not disqualified from being elected as such. The statutory declaration shall be made before a judge, a judicial officer, a notary public, a commissioner of oath, or a person authorized by law to administer an oath. Finally, we come to the important subject of the filing fees. The presidential candidates will be required to deposit an amount of 100,000 in the form of a banker's draft to the Commission. Parliamentary candidates will be required to deposit 10,000 Ghana cedis in the form of a banker's draft as well. We wish all candidates for both presidential and parliamentary elections well. We trust that the nomination process will be efficient, seamless, and orderly.
And of course, this is your election headquarters. If you're just joining us, the Electoral Commission has now announced details for filing of nominations. This is where the real deal is. Everything else we've heard up until now is people expressing intentions, their aspirants. It is from here. If they cross this particular hurdle, then they become proper candidates, awaiting a major decision by you, the electorate, on December 7th. 100,000 cedis if you want to run for president this year, 10,000 cedis if you want to go to parliament. Now, 100,000 cedis is a 100% jump from 2016, but if you're going to parliament, well, you pretty much should be smiling, because to say 10,000 cedis that you were charged, that is if you are a returning MP, that you still pay this year. Let's get some reaction to what we're hearing tonight. Let's bring in the NPP's Deputy General Secretary, Mr. Obribwahin. Mr. Obribwahin, I'm grateful that you could join us here on Top Story. Your reaction to the announcement of the filing modalities?
Interesting. If you want me to comment on it, in my capacity as a Deputy General Secretary, I was speaking for the MPP. As a professional, let me be very strict. I don't think that I can speak for the MPP because I am not one of the leading members of the campaign team. But I can express my views because I'm a member of the New Patriotic Party and a statesman. If you welcome that.
Let me hear it.
Yeah. Oh, I think it is okay. It's okay in the sense that I heard somebody raising the issue as to whether the EC consulted the political parties before arriving at this figure. I think we don't need to consult the political parties. I think that we are trying to stretch this idea of IPAC also too much. The EC is an autonomous body, and the EC says that, look, if you want to print the form and then you want to submit it, pay this. That is all. That is all. Why do you want the EC to get the consent and concurrence of political parties? Please, for goodness sake, your EC, perhaps out of courtesy, may consult the political, but there's no law in this country which says that at all times material, the EC must consult all the political parties. So they are running the institution. It is an autonomous body. They are fixed the fees as A or B. Fair enough. I mean, you cannot complain. The position is that if you can't raise money to file as a presidential candidate, so be it. If you can't raise money to file as a parliamentary candidate, so be it. You get out, and those who are the resources will go ahead.
Yeah, but what about the argument that if you have to find 100,000 CDs to file, and 10,000 CDs for a lot of people may be also quite on the high side? Isn't that the problem that civil society guys have started? It's too expensive. It's so expensive to run elections in Ghana, and then encourages people to corrupt and go to people who then will want their pound of flesh back when you win. Isn't that encouraging that cycle?
It's immaterial. Please, we need to be serious in this country. And when Elizabeth Ohene makes some suggestion that the all-knowing civil society, people started raining insults on her. Now, this is the Electoral Commission, the body charged with the constitutional responsibility to conduct the elections. The EC says that presidential pay this amount of money, parliamentary pay this amount of money. Now you are talking about civil society groups and what have you. It's for goodness sake. We must allow civil society groups at least to express their views. Yes, but I don't think that at all times material we should be at the mercy of civil society organizations.
Okay, so clearly, I mean, you are an incumbent political party. I mean, so
I am Nana Obribwa.
Well, of course, the general secretary, and of course, your party is in power.
My personal views.
No problem. Some may say it's easy for you to say 100,000 is okay. I mean, pay because you are your party is in power.
It's the same material. If you cannot raise 100,000, please get out. Those who can mobilize, pay. If you can't raise 10,000, please get out. Those who can mobilize, pay. Sometimes I hear people making some ridiculous comments. Not long ago, I had one of the, I think members of the civil society organization suggesting that there should be a law to control political parties as to how they spend money in course of conducting campaign. How can you do that? I mean, these are all ridiculous suggestions. I paid a visit to my hometown, Abonye, to interact with MPP members. Some will come to me, we need a cook, we need this, we need that, we need that. You pull out money, then there's an old lady there, and she needs 10 cedis to buy fish. How can you keep record of these things? I mean, political parties have never, I don't think they have ever gone to CSOs to beg for money to run their activities. So people should not use political parties as punching bag.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Bribwang, you know that this is what the advanced democracies we seek to emulate do. They have strict laws that govern political party financing. How much you spend, how much you get. You're saying that as a country we should be satisfied with where we are today, when your finances aren't scrutinized. You could do anything you want and then violate the law with impunity.
Advanced countries, yes, advanced countries. Tell me whether the Republicans or Democrats, when they want to conduct a rally, do you think that you have to go and hire the services of the truck pusher to organize the chairs and the rest, and then the man will take money from you? Advanced countries. Do you think that you are going to organize the Shodoku ladies and then the boys, and then we'll tell you that, give us something to go and buy something, I mean, to ginger us up, and you keep records of that? Advanced countries, do they do that?
Well, I keep that question open. Thank you very much for joining us. That is the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Mr. Obribwa. Joining me on the telephone line right now is the PPP's General Secretary, Papa Kwakon. Mr. Kwakon, I'm grateful that you're joining us here on Top Story. I'm pretty sure this is coming to you as news also. In the last few minutes, the EC announcing filing modalities, 100,000 that your presidential candidate will have to pay, plus 10,000 for your parliamentary candidates. Your reaction? Hello, Mr. Kwakon. Okay, we'll get Mr. Kwakon on. He is the General Secretary of the PPP there. And, of course, this is your election headquarters. Well, isn't it amazing when your network cares about you so much so that they do amazing things for you? You guessed it. I'm talking about the Vodafone Cash dropping all charges when you send money to all networks. Yes, you heard it right. It costs nothing, absolutely nothing, when you send money via Vodafone Cash to all networks. Just send any amount as many times as you want to any network and pay zero charges on the money sent. So go ahead, make payment, show your love, make contributions, send money all you want via Vodafone Cash to all networks for free. Simply dial *110# to send cash ready. Pabako Akon is the PPP's General Secretary. Is on the line with me. Mr. Akon, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you for having me, Evans.
Your reaction to the announcement in a few minutes ago by the Electoral Commission?
We are shocked. We are disappointed, considering the fact that we are not in normal times. We know about how people have lost their jobs, how difficult it is for many people, and we all know the general condition we all find ourselves in. So for the EC to have taken this decision without consulting IPAC, which is also the decision-making body of our electoral process, we find it a bit troubling that this decision has come at this time.
What exactly about the decision? What exactly about the decision shocks you? I mean, is it that you were not consulted, or because it's too high?
Both, because we all know the fee for 2016. We know the EC charged about 50,000 the last election, and for this to be increased by over 100%, this is just not on.
I mean, being president is a serious matter. If you can't afford 100,000, you don't deserve to be there. The argument goes.
Yeah, but Evans, it's the same argument which was made in 2016, of which we went to court on the matter. In the first place, we also need to ask ourselves whether the EC has the necessary statutory backing for this new fee. We know that the PNDC law 284 and then 285 give the EC the discretionary powers in charging fees. But do they have the statutory instrument backing this fee they are charging? These are questions we also need to ask.
So, as it stands right now, I mean, it's what it is. The EC has set it. They admit they didn't consult you. They said they didn't need to. You have no choice, do you, than to comply and get your presidential candidate to cough up the money?
Well, the issue just came up. On Wednesday, we shall have our national committee meeting, and I believe that this is an issue the national committee of the party may want to discuss and come to a conclusion on it. But clearly, it is a difficult decision. We are in a difficult moment in our history, and it's important that if the EC is making decisions, it factors in all the economic challenges people are going through in this country. We should not take fees at such high levels and say that becoming a president is a tough thing, or it's a serious business, and so anyone who expresses interest must cough such high fees. I mean, I don't get ahead and say, let's look around the world, the US, the UK, South Africa, and so on. How much do they charge as filing fee? If somebody is coming to serve the nation, must he pay this high fees to prove that he is qualified? I totally disagree.
Okay, I'm grateful that you joined me. That's PPP's General Secretary. Let's bring in now the CPP's General Secretary, Madam Nanaya Jantwa. Madam Jantwa, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to talk to you. Your candidate will have to pay 100,000 cedis to get on the ballot, and your parliamentary candidate, 10,000 cedis. Good news for you.
It's news. Whether it's good or not would depend on what the position of the party, because I just heard about the news. But the issue is that what is the condition for them to set the fees at that level? There must be a reason why there's 100% jump. And as my colleague said, nobody has been consulted. IPAC hasn't met. And you said that they said they can arbitrarily.
Yes, they have the mandate. They have a mandate to do so, and they looked at their own internal processes. Considering that 4 years have gone since they charged 50,000, I mean, it's fair, is it not?
No, but if you're charging 100% increase, people are going to pay this amount. But the presidential candidates all over the country of all the parties are going to pay this amount. There should be a basis. You don't just set charges. You don't set fees without letting us know the basis for your setting the fees. If whatever you are saying is tenable, is acceptable, why not? But you can't just say that because it's 4 years down the line, it has to go up by 100%. There should be a reason why it's going up by 100%. Maybe there's some secretarial things, maybe some logistical things. Whatever it is, we should know that for such and such a reason, categorically stated in whichever statement has come out, whichever documentation, we should know. Because why then did they leave the parliamentary one at the same level? What is the difference? They are all vying for a national office, and the parliamentary seat is as important as the presidential seat. They are not in isolation. So why leave one at the same level but increase the other?
Will you be gauging formally with the EC to try and get the clarity you want?
Exactly, we will do that.
But you know that won't change anything. I mean,
you just have to know the rationale. Wouldn't it satisfy our heart?
Okay. I'm grateful that you joined me. That's Nanaya Janta. She's the General Secretary of the CPP. This is Top Story.
55, 78, 78, 70. Hey, Charlie, my network is really killing me.